She's here. I finally got my little sister here on this podcast that we're going to be starting, Siblings Unscripted podcast with me and my little sister. I've been talking about it a lot. I told you guys in 2025, one of my main goals was to get her on, have her on a podcast, and she finally agreed to finally show up and start this podcast with her big brother that she loves so much. Like, you guys don't
So
understand
much.
how
So,
much.
so much.
See, I need more of that. I need more of that. I need to understand how much more you love your big brother because I'm the best big brother in this entire solar system. Like, if you don't have a
Yeah.
big brother like me, you probably need to go get you one because I'm just unmatched. So, if my little sister ever messes up, I open up applications for more little sisters, but she does a pretty good job on being one of the best little sisters that I ever had in my life. So, I'm going to keep her. So, she's not up for sale. And I know she ain't going to put me up for sale because she just loves me just that much. So, welcome, little sister Chastity. Finally got on the YouTube, got on the podcast. Welcome. It's about a doggone time. I've only been begging you to come on the podcast for what, years now?
No, it hasn't been years. You started asking me like last year, and I said I'm gonna do it. And then you clowned me about my camera and it might not work and all of this and all of that. So then we tested it out and it works, and we're gonna have some good chats,
We we
some fun times.
we are gonna have some good times. So I think this is our very first episode. So yay to us for finally kicking it off for 2025 in February, and we're doing it on Black History Month as well. So that is good. So of course I had to like check your mic. I had to make sure that the camera is all right because we can't go out like Willie Lump Lump. Like we can't do that. And you know we got to be professional. We got to have all the equipment set up and everything like that. So I'm glad we able was to finally make it here. But let's get the people some background of us first. Like this is the first episode, so they need to know who we are, how we met, because we got a unbelievable story, right? Normally, when you see brother and sister, you think that they grew up in the same household, they grew up winning, going to the same school, stuff like that. But that wasn't us.
No, not at all. Could you imagine though? Oh my God. Could
Like
you
we
imagine?
seriously did not get up with each other into our adult life, and I can't
Right.
even remember how old I was, but
I
adults
was,
meeting as
yeah, I was
siblings, like
around 25, 26
really.
ish.
So if he was
Yeah.
around that age, and I mean, I'm the bigger brother, but obviously ain't too much older than you. But if you was 25, I had to be 26, 27 when we
Something like
finally
that.
met up. So I just wanted to go over the background first. So obviously, like with me growing up, right, I would always go over grandma's house, obviously, and I would see pictures of this girl, and I was like, "Who is that?" And she was like, "Yo, that's your sister." Like my sister. I got to listen. My whole family's big, so on my mom's side, the family's big. So having another sister that I didn't know about was crazy to me because I'm living my life, my teens, my adulthood, thinking that hey, I only got just two sisters that I know of, or three sisters that I know of, and here's this girl right here that's on this picture in my grandma's house, and my grandma's telling me that hey, that's your other sister. I'm like, where'd she come from? Like,
I mean, it's kind of funny because the rest of you guys lived in Florida, and I was the only one because it's five of us in total.
right,
And I was the only one that didn't live in Florida. And I was very surprised when I went over her house, and it was in my 20s when I met her for the first time too. And it was very funny to me that she had all of these pictures of me when I was like a little girl. And I'm like, where you get this from? My grandmother was sending her pictures of me all through my childhood, which is I think is hilarious.
right,
So yeah, when I first went to Florida to meet the other siblings, is what well, I met Adrian. So he's the next to the oldest. I was told that you lived in Chicago. And I was like, oh, well, Then eventually we found that that wasn't true. And we linked up, we started talking on the phone and
right.
stuff like that. And then eventually I think, I'm a free spirit and I don't mind traveling. So eventually I just ended up flying back down, just to meet and hang out with you and Adrian. And then it pretty much took off from there because believe it or not, I couldn't like it's unbelievable how alike we are. So
Right. That's true. But I was still like in the maze of like they would just have these pictures of you, but they really didn't have too much information about you. Like I think I even recall her telling me that, hey, your sister Chastity, she's in the military. And I'm like, military? I'm like, okay. So actually like of all those times I've seen your picture over her house, I never really expected to actually meet you, right? Because I'm like, nobody really has any information about you. But it turns out one of our uncles actually did have your number and did know more information than what they led on to. And then eventually they gave me your number, and then we kind of like text at first and was talking. Cause I remember I was actually working at Foot Locker at the time. And when I finally got your number and called you, I was at work that day. And when me being the manager, I just happened to walk out, and then we just had our very first phone conversation. And I was like, hey, they say you my sister, yada, yada, yada. And then, obviously it has taken off since then, but it was kind of weird meeting your long lost sister that you really had no idea about. And just imagine if I probably never really went over there on a regular, I probably never really even met you, because outside of that particular side of the family, nobody really else know anything about you other than them. So, and just to rewind it and break it all back, like we're all come from different mothers. So we can just probably say Papa was a Rolling Stone, apparently, right?
Okay, yeah. Papa was a Rolling Stone.
He was a Rolling
And
Stone considering how close in age we are. And we're really not that far apart, because you got me at the top, the big brother. Then we got my little brother, who actually hates for me to call him my little brother. But a fact is a fact, he's a little brother because I'm older than him. And granted, it may be only by just a few months, but hey, a big brother is a big brother. So there's me, there's him, and then there's you. And then there's
mhm.
the little sister called Tasha, and then there's what, Brandon? Is Brandon
Yeah, I think Brandon's the youngest.
he's the youngest? Okay. So we got 5 of us. And then on my mom's side, I have 2 additional sisters.
Yeah, I have a sister and a brother on my mom's side too. So we're
Yeah,
all
so everybody
hey.
was a Rolling Stone at that point. Clearly.
Yeah,
Back in the wet.
yeah, my mom, she wasn't a Rolling Stone. She had like big age gaps. So
Mm.
she was a little bit different. But that's another story for another day. Um, but yeah. And then when I first met you, honestly, I did think that you were quiet. That is not true. You're not quiet at all.
I am quiet. What do you mean? I'm
No, you're
very
not.
shy.
No, you're not. So you're not quiet. When people first meet you, they think you're quiet.
Hmm.
You remember when you came to my wedding and I sat you at a table with my friend Gina?
Yes.
She was like, I guess I'll keep him entertained. He's so quiet. And I wanted to be like, he is not quiet. But you were quiet that day for the most part.
Right. Because I was
You
in the
were just
room
like,
with people that I didn't necessarily know. So I guess I was quiet. And really, that was only like my, what, second time or third time actually being around Gina. So, of course, I was kind of quiet. I didn't want to embarrass myself. But I literally was in a room where I actually like knew nobody other than what, maybe Lay. And that was really probably my first time meeting Lay as
it
well,
was
right?
your first time meeting my sister. I
Yeah.
think it was your first time meeting my grandmother.
Yep.
And yeah, it was funny. Just overall, it was just a funny experience.
Right.
So you're not quiet and you're not shy. That's good though,
I'm very
because we
shy.
need
Like,
that.
I don't care what you
We
say.
need
I'm
that
shy.
in our
I don't really speak to a lot of people unless I like really know them. But even if I know them, I don't really talk that much. I'm shy. I'm
Yeah,
shy. I'm surprised I'm even behind this mic half the time and on this video, because I'm just that
okay.
shy. But
No, you're not shy. But over the years, we have linked up a whole lot. I'm pretty much, and you're used to talking to me basically like every day.
right,
And when you don't hear from each other, it's like texting like, "You good? Like, what's wrong with you?" Like, so, but yeah, it's fantastic. Vacationing together, visiting each other, kids meeting up.
right,
Perfect. 2 of us got 2 kids that act just alike. It's all good.
right. So just going back to like when we first met up, what was your very first impression of me when we first met up, or when we first started talking or whatever? Because when you hear stories of siblings meeting up with long lost siblings, either it goes very well, or it goes like nowhere, or it goes pretty good. I would say in our case, it went pretty good. But getting to
Mhm.
that point actually took a lot of work. But I felt like for me, when I first met you, even when we were just talking and texting, like I thought it was cool to do, and I thought it was cool to like really engage with you and get to know you a little bit better, and be the bigger big brother that I probably should have been. But us talking and texting didn't feel weird at all. That I didn't feel like he was inconveniencing me or nothing like that. I just felt that it was very genuine, and it just felt easy to do. Like it was like she's my little sister. And normally with little sisters they are annoying, but you wasn't annoying at all. Like it kind of seems like it was on purpose that we finally came together when we did, and it went so well throughout all these years. But what was your first impression, and how did you feel when we first started talking?
I think my first impression was pretty much the same. It was, very much easygoing.
Mm.
Um, I live a pretty busy life, clearly with me living in the north and you live all the way down there where it's warm all the time. We had a lot of catching up to do, so that was beneficial that we could like share stories about like how we were brought up, you know, who raised us. Similar situations like, you didn't really grow up with your mom. I didn't really like mom, they were both there, but
Right,
my grandmother raised me, your auntie raised you. And we pretty much clicked very quickly on beliefs, how we were brought up, how we were raised, some of the things that we did, and we had a lot of the same interests. And like whereas you're able to shed some insight on life things with me, I'm able to do the same thing with you. So like, yeah, you might
right,
be the big brother, but I give you a lot of good advice. So yeah, when we first met up, it was easy. I could say it was pretty much easy because it was a lot of curiosity there.
right.
Yeah.
Good curiosity at first,
Yeah.
because at first people would be like, they meet their long lost sister and be like, all right, I just gotta fill her out. I gotta see if I'm actually gonna like this person. But I think because we had already had those conversations and had those text messages and phone calls or whatever, when we finally did meet up, it made it that much easier to continue to build on the relationship that we was actually trying to build as a sibling, a big bro, and a little sister. But I think with us sharing what we did and going through what we did, because it kind of seems like at times we're going through the same stuff, or we did go through the same stuff, and we was able to relate, like you said, with your mom and my mom, being raised by different individuals, not having our dad in our life, not having the real dad or whatever in our life. But we was
Okay.
able to navigate through that. Yes, we know your situation, but we didn't have the Rolling Stone one in our lives. But we was
But
able
yeah,
to,
I mean,
yeah, we was able
yeah,
to
we're
like
able
build on that.
to like just and build on it. And the great thing about it is, we were able to click and build on it, but it takes effort from both. I can say
Right,
that. So it takes effort from both. So we have a, very great relationship. And I think you had me cracking up one day. You had said, he was like, nothing better not happen to you because I ain't gonna be no good. And the feeling is mutual, you
right.
know? So, I could joke with you. You like to troll me a lot, pranks and stuff like that. It's all good though.
Right. And that's the best part about you though, is trolling my little sister, because obviously I had a little sister in my life that I physically like grew up with. We went to the same school. Like she's down here in Florida as well. We didn't necessarily live in the same house, but like I said, she was more accessible to me, and like I talked to her, I treat her pretty much like the same way as you, but that effort between me and you has kind of like grown and taken off to a whole nother level, and it just come genuine and natural. So but yeah, it was a little bit different. Not really scary at all, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm glad we was able to continue to build on it, and it did take effort. And I'm not going to say that it took a lot of effort, and then we both went overboard with it, because we didn't. Like we would text each other, we would call each other, but it wasn't like an all day thing or something like that. It just like we probably did more than most people
Right.
who was trying to build a relationship, but it just felt genuine. It just felt like it was effortless. Like, hey, let me test my little sister and see what she up to. It says she want this or want that, or she needs somebody to talk to or whatever. But and that was way before we even got to the point now where we like traveling together and where we like talk every single day. Like you said, if you don't call me by 8 or 9, I'm on the phone. Like, hey, what's up? What's your problem? Like, what's going on? Do I need fire up there or what? But it wasn't like that at the beginning, but it still felt comfortable enough to continue to build on this sibling type relationship. And I guess we get just kind of lucked out, because
Yeah, it's a
long
blessing.
lost siblings don't have that type of connection.
Right, right.
So
It's a blessing. And sometimes you get a little out of hand, might have to beat you up from time to time, but it's all good.
yeah, that won't ever happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a lot stronger than what you think.
It
Plus,
is.
I'm gonna say this: we are very good motivators for each other. So, like, I could challenge you to do something, and then you could challenge me to do something, and we both hate losing, so it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Not only just being competitive, but just being able to take each other's life advice or just advice in general. Like there's things that I ask you about and I'd be like, okay, let me ask Chaz about this. Let me see if I'm really crazy. And because we kind of like really think alike most of the time, like 99% of the time, we think alike and already kind of know what she is going to say or what advice she's going to give me. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to confirm this with Chaz because I already know what she's going to say. And bam, you said, so I'm right. So that's just the way it is. But the motivation factor is good. Like the aligned thoughts that we have, which I put in the beginning of the podcast, aligned thoughts, similar personalities. Like I don't have to ask Chaz what she likes to eat because she likes what I like, and vice versa. I like what she likes, and we probably could have been twins.
That's pushing it. We do look similar, from what they say. And not only that, we hold each other accountable. So like if you do something wrong, I'm good with calling you out on it. If I'm thinking crazy, you good with calling me out and be like, don't you think you overreacting a little bit?
Right.
So it works. It works. And
But
I
by the
think
time you
that
ask me though, you already know it's crazy because you already know that I'm going to tell you that it's crazy. So
sometimes you just need confirmation,
So yeah,
you
so
know?
we definitely do that a lot where we confirm our thoughts, even though we already know what the other person's gonna think. But like, I know she's gonna think this. She say that I shouldn't buy this, but you should go ahead and buy it. But
Oh, you know what? I meant to show you something. I'm gonna back up a little bit so you can see. You might have seen it already.
what? Ah, yeah, paper planes. See, and the fact that I done got you onto the paper planes after all
You
that
didn't get me onto
trash
the paper
talk you done
planes.
gave me.
You didn't get me onto the paper planes. I do think that it's a bit excessive, but I do like this shirt in particular.
I do like the design, so I'm glad I was
Yeah.
able to convince you to finally buy into the paper planes and something that you like, even though I think you did like a lot of other designs as well, but you just refuse to buy into the paper planes because I'd be so crazy about it. But for the most part, we are very much aligned on our thoughts, what we like to eat, where we like to go. Mentally, we kind of almost like the same thing. Like we could, we probably got tons and tons of stories of situations that I was going through and then I relate them to her, and she be like, you know what, I'm going through the same thing, like just in a different form, but overall it's the same type of situation, and it's just so crazy how that's been happening, not out of lately, but just in general,
In
like
general,
yeah,
right.
in general, like it
And
happens way too much.
yeah. And I feel like with the podcast, we'll be able to touch a lot of, different families and sibling relationships. And we're going to have like a ton of stories to share,
Yeah,
about vacations and sports and your delusional part of sports and,
there you go.
things like
But
that.
we ain't gonna talk about how you switch teams though, right? You don't want to talk about that,
It's
right?
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, I think this podcast would be great for showing an example of how I don't even like to really use the term long lost siblings, of just how siblings were able to connect and build on a positive relationship for the future or just in general. I think this podcast will help a lot of people understand that. And if you're having some sort of issues with a long lost sibling or something like that, maybe we can help you overcome that and at least be an example of a positive sibling situation that went well. Because like I said, it didn't take too much effort. Like
No, not at all. And being that it's Black History Month, and a lot of times Black families be acting up, they act
right,
up,
right,
but this is a positive way to show how two Black successful people. I like to think I'm pretty successful. I like to think you're pretty successful, and how they could align, support each other, and just help us motivate each other to keep getting better, keep doing bigger things. Because I think since I've known you, I've worked at like what, one, two, three, at least four big firms,
right,
right? And even now, like when I was interviewing for jobs to get to the position that I'm at now, like I loved having a cheerleader in my corner about like, yeah, you're gonna do that. That job sounds really nice and stuff like that. Because a lot of times, you could get stuck in a place and then things couldn't be going well. And sometimes you need that person to tell you, be like, yeah, they could kick rocks, it's time to go. You know?
right. Yeah, I mean, being supportive really came second nature. It ain't nothing to be like, hey, let me try to like build her up a little bit. It's like I'm the big brother. Like she need me. Like let me step in and be like, hey, This is what I believe. I believe in you. And she's a big time off. She's a big time hospital executive. Everybody. All right, you hear
I
me say that a lot. She's big time. She's up there. Okay, so she's up there. So she made it. And you know what? Thinking back at it, right? Like we're both successful, but I think the way that we align mentally has really truly helped this sibling relationship blossom into what it is today. Because I don't think if we was on like the same wavelengths on like being responsible adults, taking care of our responsibilities, whether it be a mother, whether it be a dad, or just career wise, progressing, making sure we always being the better person, and just like wanting to make something of our lives, because we both have come from tough situations and we could have gave up a long time ago. Like even before we even met, even when we did meet, we could have gave up a long time ago. Like if you really heard the backstory of how I came up and where I came, not you already know it, but for the people, the backstory how I grew up in the projects and how I grew up in the ghetto, how the Rolling Stone was a drug addict, like I could have gave up, like, but I made it out of that situation, and look where I am today. And you made it out of your situation. Look where you are today. Like normally, when you hear stories of somebody growing up in the projects and their parents was either deadbeats or drug dealers or whatever, that situation normally doesn't end well, especially for a black male. So to overcome that, and then to meet my sister, and then she continues to build me up and to make me feel like I can accomplish anything that I want. Obviously, a lot of people have told me that, but to continue to have the support system of her in my corner, it continues to build me up. It just continues to make me a better man every single day.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm proud of you. Granted,
yeah,
we grew up in different situations. I did not grow up in the projects, but I grew up in a low income house with my grandmother.
right.
A mother who has, her own deficiencies and battles and things of that sort. Not the same type of battles as you, but nonetheless, it can make for a difficult situation in general. And
Right.
so, I'm blessed because I did grow up with the father figure. My dad is like one of the best dads ever, and to have an absent biological father didn't affect me as much as it did you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come around him and to interact with him and him not really be that interested, it could take effect on people. But for me, I was just like, well, I'm fine with it. I got a daddy. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a little bit different from you, but when you make it through those type of situations, all you can think about is like, yeah, it might have been a horrible situation, but look at this. I got like this amazing big brother. We help each other a lot mentally. I can't really, do we help each other financially from time? I'm gonna say this. We don't support each other financially, but there might be a little bit of spoiling back and forth, just to do the surprises back and forth. Like, you can't one up me because I can one up you type of thing.
I think the spoiling go is a one way street though, because I definitely have spoiled you to the
So
T, like to the T.
I don't disagree with you. That's a fact. But you get a little spoiled there too.
Every
You
now
don't
and
like
then, but I think my spoiling definitely is a little bit more higher than yours. Not to really brag, but that's
you're
just another
supposed
example of me not
you're supposed to do that stuff. That's your
see.
job.
I think I missed that memo in the Big Brother handbook.
Yeah, it's your job.
This,
You're
oh,
supposed to do that.
see, I didn't sign up for that. If I'd have known back then what I know
No,
now, I'd be like, you know
no
what?
back,
She's just another sister. She's just another
no,
sister.
no backsies. Yeah, it's already done. You created a monster.
I guess, but it came genuinely, and I didn't really mind doing it at all. But um, overall, like I said, we just align mentally. We align in a lot of different ways. We're pretty much the same person. You're pretty much the female version of me. And
Very
that may
true.
sound kind of weird and crazy, but if if I ever was a female or something like that, if you ever wanted to know what I'm thinking or what I'm doing, you could probably ask my little sister, and whatever she says is probably what's happening or what's going on with me. So
Right, right,
that's just the
right.
way that she's
And
equivalent.
it's vice versa. And it's vice versa. Like, I don't even have to. It's funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. I don't really have to ask you where you at because I'm not like secretly a stalker, but I just look at your location and be like, oh, and then if I don't know where that is, I'll be like, what are you doing?
Right,
Type of thing.
right.
So, but you do the same thing to me. Like, when I'm at work, because I'm pretty sure you look at my location. You know when I'm at home, because you look at, and you proved that to me because one day I was coming home, you was like, oh, well, you're home now. And I'm like, how do you know that?
I may or may not be looking at your location from time to time. Maybe, maybe. But
Hmm.
hey, if you're not in the right spot, then I'm on a plane trying to figure out where you at. Maybe somebody got your phone. Maybe somebody like did something to you. I need answers. If you don't pick
Mm.
up your phone or respond to your text in a timely manner, I'm on the way.
Okay.
And that's what
Okay.
a big brother should do, right? Like
Yeah. That's your job.
I guess, but it's just been crazy, like the dynamic, and it's kind of crazy to like as you're traveling or as I get to see your friends a little bit more, that the way that we both act, if they didn't know any better, they couldn't tell me from you because the behavior is kind of the same.
Yeah.
So if they was in the room and we had our faces covered and they could really not tell who was who, but based on the behavior, they would think I was you
Very
and you was me because we act
right.
exactly pretty much the same.
Same responses. Um, Yeah, same responses. I have this one friend, I'm not gonna name her, but she thinks that our relationship is like disgusting, but not in a bad way. Disgustingly like overboard. Like, why are we so, I'm not gonna say that we're mushy, but why are we so like, she's like, it's like seeing two kids in a candy store and just like playing little games when like they're kids. She's like, oh, y'all make me sick. And I was like, yeah, we love you too.
Right, right. We definitely do, but I don't like people say that it's making up for lost time, but I don't feel like it's like really making up for lost time. We just being ourselves.
Yeah,
And
and it's a lot of future goals and planning in there too, like vacations, like we just started really, really vacationing together, and that is like to a T because we have some do's and don'ts of, what happens on vacation.
right.
And then, just flying together makes it a whole lot easier. And it's just like it's just easy because we like a lot of the same things. So it's not like we have to be on vacation and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you want to do this."
We just
Because
like
we
being around each other. I think that's what it really boils down to. Like most siblings, they can't really stand the bigger sibling or the little sibling, but that's not necessarily the case. Like, do you get on my nerves? Yes, but that don't
I
mean that
don't
I don't want to be around you. I kind of do want to be around you. I kind of wish that I did live a little bit closer because I be raiding your refrigerator every single day. Like, what I'm gonna eat for dinner? Whatever my sister cook.
that's true.
Like I
That's
wouldn't
true.
need to cook. I just go to my sister's house. And like I said, it's not really making up for lost time, but it just feels like that sibling connection is just there. Like it's just there. It's just
Yeah.
natural to me.
Right. And then I think we're at a place in our lives where we do a lot of firsts together. So,
Right.
a lot of some of the places we travel to, neither one of us have been there. Some of the things that we do on vacation is like the first time that we both have done it. So I think that's pretty lit if you ask me. And then like if we're out and somebody say or do something crazy, we can both have the expression like, yo, they got us up. So but yeah, so like I said, this is gonna be some great times, some great memories, some great planning,
Right.
and hey, it's just us. Unequivocally, can't complain about it,
Right.
and we are who we are.
I agree. So coming up, right? Like so we both got a lot of siblings. We got the five that we on our dad's side. I got what, two sisters and a brother on my mom's side. So let's talk about sibling jealousy. Now, that's a big one, right? It is a big one, but I feel like we need to talk about it because if we being ourselves, there is some individuals out there that maybe have gone through this situation with their sibling and they want to maybe try to figure out how to overcome it. But let's just talk about it, right? So we come so close together as brother and sister that maybe, and maybe it's just in my head, but I think maybe you can confirm it. But sibling jealousy. How can individuals deal with sibling jealousy? Because, like I said, people have been mad that we have come so close together that maybe they feel excluded from either our travel plans or our conversations that we have, or they just be in their feelings altogether because, but sibling jealousy, let's talk about
I
it.
think it is sometimes people can get upset if I take your side or you take my side. But for me, it's like, what do you really expect when you have two people who act and think similarly? So, and I use this just in life. So not that our relationship is very corporate, but your mindset is about future things, how to make things better, what process is this, how to plan that. And so we are pretty much aligned and we think similarly, right?
Right.
So I don't just do things on a whim just because someone wants me to if it does not make logical sense,
Right.
right? So it could just be the fact of, oh, I don't even know why you gonna call and ask her that because you know she gonna take his side because that's could be what it is. Or they didn't ask me to go on vacation, or she didn't fly down here and see me while she was here, or he flew all the way up there to see her, but he never offers to come fly and see me. I
Right.
mean, let's it could be a variation of things. You could or could not be overreacting. I will tell you from me, if I'm talking to you
Mm.
and you happen to be talking to someone else and you know that I'm there and I say hello to you, like if you're on the phone and I say hello to you, to whoever you're talking to, and that person doesn't say hello back, I'm going to be like, okay, what's going on there? Like, you didn't hear me speak to you, type of thing.
Right.
But I'm not going to stress about it. Now, do I hold grudges? I do. You know this, I know this, but I get over it eventually. And then once I'm over it and I'm past it, that's it. I don't want to talk about it again.
Right.
So if a person or a sibling or just is just in life, if a person has a problem, you address the problem and then you move on. Because I'm not going to keep dwelling on what happened in the past. That's just my personal opinion.
Right. And I also say that the sibling jealousy that may or may not occur in our current situation is that it's not one that we actually like intentionally made happen. Like I don't think that we did anything to be like, hey, you guys should be jealous of us. Like the effort that me and you put in was kind of like, and this is in general. Let me just go back in general, right? So if you have a sibling and you guys are putting in the same amount of effort to stay in touch with each other, to communicate, to see each other and stuff like that, it probably will blossom into a great relationship. But then you have some family members or just siblings in general that it's kind of very one sided. Like you always reaching out, but I never reach out to you. You always text me how am I doing, but I never text you how you doing. So why would that sibling relationship blossom if it's just very one sided? I think with us that because we both stayed engaged the whole time, very effortless, it blossomed well. But there are sibling situations out there where, hey, Chaz is testing me, but I'm not replicating the same type of energy that she is. So one day she's just gonna get tired of texting me and then she's just gonna stop. So that kind of what happens a lot in these sibling situations where it's very one sided. But if it's both sided and both siblings are doing what they're supposed to do and to stay engaged with each other, it's going to go out pretty well. But to overcome maybe like a sibling jealousy, like you said, maybe it's just to have a conversation about it and to really confirm if that really is the case. And if it is, talk it out, figure it out. What else you guys need to do
Or
better,
not,
or
or not,
or
and
not,
move on.
or
Because you
not.
know, some relationships can prove to be toxic. Thank God ours isn't. But you might have those people that you can't. They are not the same as you, and it's not to say whether you're better or not. But if you are just generally complete and total polar opposites, then you know opposites they stray away from each other. You pretty much have to just be like you acknowledge that that's your sibling, but you really might not could really fool with them like that because who knows, they might be crazy.
Right. And that's a
I don't
great
want
example because not just like not in our family, but just in families in general, you have those siblings hierarchy where you have the one sibling who went to college, and then you had that one sibling who was a dropout, and they don't necessarily
that.
get together or like really be one because their paths are so different. Like this one went out to college, this one dropped out of high school, and maybe the one that dropped out of high school might be jealous of the one that actually went to college, but they can't really hang out together because their mindset is so different, and that
Yeah, and
happens a lot.
they might hang out in different type of circles, hang out with different
Yeah,
type of people, you know, and that's with any family, you know, ours, everybody else's. It's no different. It's life, you know,
yeah,
it's real life stuff.
yeah. I mean, luckily he had so many kids. Like you couldn't probably expect for all of us to really be so close together. I mean, that's kind of impossible because, like I said, we come from different backgrounds. We come from different circumstances and stuff like that. I mean, are we cordial towards each other? Sure, absolutely. But I think when I think about it, and again, this is just in general, but when you have a big family like that, you're going to have maybe two or three that are really, really connected, that are really, really locked in with each other because they align so much. So I think that's
Hmm.
kind of was the case with us a little bit, the way we align mentally and a lot of different ways of where we just really connected because we're there.
Yeah,
We
we're
had
in
the
the
same
same page.
paths.
Yeah, same level, playing fields, and we, like I said, we think alike. But yeah, I mean, it's been real. It's been great. I like it.
It is. So I mean, if you out there struggling with sibling jealousy, maybe just talk it out a little bit. Maybe figure out what the real issue is and see if you guys can really get over that hump and see what can be done to maybe improve that relationship. Because at the end of the day, your siblings is all that you really have after your parents do whatever they do and stuff like that. So if something was to happen to her, I don't. It'll happen to both of us.
Yeah, we're
So
not
when
gonna
she
talk about.
leaves, I'm leaving.
No, you're not.
I'm leaving.
Anyway, but no, I mean, everybody have their different dynamics of how their sibling relationships are. I have a younger sister on my mother's side, and I love her to death. But we have a really huge age gap. So as opposed to being like the sister that you grow up with when, she was in like middle and high school, I left to go to college. And so I kind
Mm-hmm.
of felt bad a little bit at one point. But like our relationship is like, yeah, it's a sibling relationship, but she also looks at me like similar to like a mother or older figure to look up to. So like there's different dynamics for it all. And like, you know, I love her dearly, but sometimes I have to give her tough love and she thanks me for it. Um
Right.
and it is what it is. You've seen how I interact with her. So like I give some real tough love sometimes, but then I'm also there for her when she really needs it as well. Because at the end of the day, with my family on my mother's side, like you may hear people say sometimes like, yo, you all I got. And like I remind her all the time, like, you're my little sister. And if I want to call and check on you, I'm gonna do that, you know, because I
Right.
could do that. So
Because you can do that because you're the bigger sister, right?
yes, of course.
Like I think we both like in situations where our younger siblings actually respect that about us. Say, hey, we pull the big sister, big brother card like all the time, and they respect it. Like I'm gonna call you. Like I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna
No.
text you, and you better answer. Cause if not, it's gonna be a problem. Like even with my
Yeah,
little
I'm not like
brothers,
you.
huh?
I'm not like you. I don't get all abrasive with it. I just be like, pick up the phone now. Like,
Even with you being like the little sister, there are things that I know I cannot cross with you. Like I know I shouldn't cross that line with her because of the way that she acts. Because I know
yes,
how she's gonna like lash out and her behavior is gonna change. And even as a big brother, I was like, I can't do my little sister like that because she gonna kill me. Like she gonna slap me.
facts,
Like I know that.
facts.
I know that about you. To where like even as a big brother, even when I try to do the trump card and stuff like that, I know that I probably shouldn't because she ain't gonna react too well to this. And whatever she does, I kind of deserve it because I know not to push her buttons. But
Yeah, but you push your boundaries sometimes. You do little things and like I'll be looking like your little prank that you did. And now it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I have to tell you, I'm like, I don't know, you can't be trusted.
I know I can't even like call you anymore without you think I'm recording a call or trying to prank you. I'm like, dang, that was one time. That was one
Is
time, and it took
always
2 days to do.
and it's always gonna be my question. Like you call me, be like, what do you want? Are you recording me? It's like
See, that's messed up. I can't even. When you cross that line, that's when you just know that like your sister just loves you that much because she feel like you can't be trusted. That took two
you
days to do.
you cannot, you cannot be trusted.
Can you name any other time where I probably had pranked you? No.
Yeah, with the hat in the airport, that was a good one.
It was your birthday though. That was part of me trying to spoil you, right? Like I wanted.
Was it spoiling me or was it pranking me?
It
So
was
like
a. It
I'm
was.
walking
It
around
actually
and
was.
everybody's staring at us, and I'm thinking like, okay, we just going on vacation.
I
And
was
then
just
it
really
took
trying
me
to
until
embarrass you. But
yeah,
that's what big brothers do. That's what big
and it
brothers
wasn't
do.
until we sat down, and I think I went and I threw something in the garbage, and I came back and I was like, "What? I understand.
Yeah.
It's okay though.
And
I
I
just
think I
want you
had
to
that
know
hat on for quite a long time
you do."
at the airport before you even noticed what it said. 'Cause I had turned it on when we walked in. So I was like, I saw the hat and I was like, yo, this would be a good way to embarrass my sister in the airport. And I think it
See,
worked.
and that's why I say you can't be trusted.
I mean,
But it's
that's what Big Brother did. Now, that is actually in the Big Brother handbook. It's to embarrass your sister at all costs at any given moment. Page
not.
57.
I'm gonna need a copy of that.
No, it's only for Big Brothers. No, only for Big Brothers.
Oh
So
man,
I think like I done got you a few times like before that moment because our very first vacation was what, Vegas, and I got you with decorations in the room. See,
yeah,
me
you
spoiling
got
my
me
little
good.
sister on her birthday. She didn't
Yeah,
even know about
Vegas,
that.
but Vegas was epic though. That was like one of the
It
best
was,
vacations.
but hey, like I
And
said, pranking
then
your little sister or your little siblings is a must. It's a must.
yeah, yeah.
It's a
But I
must.
got you too for your birthday. You wasn't expecting that. I got you.
I
The
wasn't. I really wasn't expecting that, but you have not got me yet on the level that I've got you already. So I'm
That's
still
a
up
fact.
on you.
It's a fact.
I'm
But you
still
never
up.
know what's up your sleeve. So
Anyways, but hopefully this podcast can give you guys a real insight of the sibling relationship that me and my little sister has, and hopefully it can help you through your sibling relationship where not as good or bad by showing you a positive example of how a brother and sister came together after years apart, like a long time ago. Like I only knew of her because of pictures that I saw, and I only went over there a few times, and there's like, yo, this is your sister. I'm like, okay. In a normal situation, you just like brush it off and be like, okay, I got a long lost sister somewhere. What do I care? But hey,
right.
somehow we was able to connect, and it's been nothing but great laughs and great fun since then. But that's the type of energy that we want to bring to this podcast. Those are the type of stories that we want to bring to you. We got lots and lots of videos. Some videos you won't ever see, like like your
Like
birthday.
how I saved your life.
Yeah, like you saved
Yeah.
my life. How you
Yep.
was hitting me. How I turned up for your birthday.
Yeah, you did. You
For
turned
your
up for my
birthday.
birthday, and I had to save your life for it. But it's all good.
The story that
We
how I
learned
almost ended up in a Mexican hospital. Almost. We'll say that for
almost
another day. Maybe y'all see that
another day.
video. But
Yeah,
that's
so
just
I think yeah, the intro to us probably was a little bit a heavier topic, but I think most of the rest of the sessions that we shoot will probably be a lot more lighthearted,
yes.
a lot less serious, and we're just gonna have fun. That's the plan, to just have fun. Maybe a special guest or two every so often. Maybe we can get V to come on with us,
Mm.
or you know, and maybe a younger sibling who wants to talk.
Yeah, I think we may
Either
be able to pull that off, but we'll see.
yeah,
But overall, we just want to bring positive vibes and show you guys a very great example of a sibling relationship gone good. And if it can help you improve your sibling situation or relationship, we did our job. So
yeah.
anything else you want to say before we cut this first episode out? After this, it's going to be nothing but jokes and conversations and epic
Maybe
stories.
some bloopers every so often.
Yeah, so we do some bloopers. But
Do some
anyways,
bloopers.
make sure you guys hit that bell icon, turn on your notifications so you know when I drop another video, and subscribe to the Siblings Unscripted podcast, where this bond is one that you want to hear and you want to be able to fully understand how we came together as brother and sister and how we evolved the relationship of big brother and little sister, and big brother always wins.
Oh, sometimes.
And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out.
Peace out.